It's a huge garage sale. It's the yard sale of selling platforms. And I mean, you're not wrong.
Hi, I'm Christina Sherilyn, and I'm a vintage reseller, which means I rummage through people's unwanted items and find the most amazing vintage pieces to give them a second chance. I love styling up vintage clothing in a modern way, investigating the history of each piece, and most of all, I love the treasure hunt. So follow along on my journey and let's see what we can find.
Hello, girls and squirrels. Happy Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever day it is, and welcome back to my channel. So as you can see, I am not at my house. I am at my boyfriend's apartment, and he lives like in a downtown area. So if you hear a lot of traffic in the background or just noise in general in the background, I apologize. There's nothing I can really do about it because it's a small apartment and there's nowhere I can go where there's not noise. So I apologize for that in advance. But welcome back to my pros and cons series, a series where I'm going over all the different pros and cons of each selling platform. And it has been a journey. So far we've covered Poshmark and eBay, and today we are going to be covering Mercari. And next we're going to be covering Etsy and Depop. So those are going to be fun. I'm really excited. I know a lot of you guys are looking forward to Depop because you guys seem to be very curious about Depop, so that will be coming next. But today, let's get started on the pros and cons of Mercari. We're going to start with the cons so we can end on a good note, as always. All right, so con number one is shipping. A lot of you guys said that Mercari has weird shipping tiers and that shipping is more complicated. I agree. The shipping system on Mercari needs some work. The tiers do not make sense to me at all. There's so many gaps in it. It's either 1 pound or 10 pounds. There's no in between. So they definitely need to work on that. When it comes to shipping, a lot of you guys said everyone wants free shipping. Also true. And that it costs too much for heavier items. So like I said, there's a huge gap. It's either 1 pound or 10 pounds. And the 10 pound, I don't know how much it is off the top of my head. I don't do a whole lot of selling on Mercari just because I've had bad experiences over there and I just would rather not mess with it. But I will put on the screen right here what the shipping tiers are for Mercari. So number two is buyers. A lot of you guys said there's a ton of lowball offers, which is mainly due to a younger audience. You get a lot of rude messages and cheaper items sell on Mercari. I agree. Like I said, I haven't had the best experience on Mercari. People over there tend to be kind of rude and they want a lot of things for nothing, if that makes sense. Number three is categories, that there's not enough category options. I actually had someone comment on this from a buyer's perspective. They said there wasn't enough information in the listing. So I agree with that. That is another thing that I absolutely hate about Mercari is their category section is just, they might as well not even have it, to be honest. And especially, little side note, when it comes to the condition of an item, their condition categories make absolutely no sense to me. I'm going to put them on the screen so you guys can look at them and just laugh about how just weird it is. It doesn't make any sense. On Mercari, it's like, with everything, it seems to be, it's all or nothing, and it doesn't make any sense. Anyways, number four is it's not as popular. So it's a newer platform. There's not as many customers on there. A couple people said it's a huge garage sale. It's the yard sale of selling platforms. And I mean, you're not wrong. Some of your answers just make me laugh. Oh my goodness. Number five is there's no bundling options. So if a customer wants to buy multiple things from you on Mercari, you have to create a new listing, I guess. I've never done bundles on Mercari, so I couldn't even tell you how to go about it. But I'm assuming you would just make a separate listing with multiple items and go from there, just like you would on any other platform that doesn't have a bundling option. All right, number six is photos don't upload well on the desktop version. They are always out of order. I noticed that, but I didn't know if it was just me or if it was all desktops, so that's kind of good to know that it's not just me. Anytime you try to upload photos on Mercari, they upload in just a strange order. I don't know what it is. I guess it's whatever photo it loads first. That's the one that just goes to the top, and it's kind of annoying. I mean, it's not detrimental because you can just rearrange it, but it is annoying. It should just be in order of the way you loaded them in. So that's a glitch on their system, I'm sure. Number 7 is you can only bring 10 of your items to the top of the search results a day by discounting. You have to either promote your listing by discounting it, or you have to relist the item completely. So there's no type of system like on Poshmark where you can just share your items or like bump them to the top. On Depop, there's a way to do it on Depop, which I will discuss in next week's video. But on Mercari, there's no way to do this. You have to discount your item, or you just simply have to relist the item in order to bump it in search. And if you choose to do the promotion route, like where you discount it, you can only do 10 items a day. So if you have a ton of items, that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Number 8 is if your package is not scanned in, even though you have shipped already, they don't care. The customer can cancel the order. So let's say, and this has been a huge issue just basically in the year of 2020 and continuing into 2021, USPS has been very behind. Getting packages scanned is like pulling teeth. So unfortunately with Mercari, until your package is actually scanned in, which could take like 2 or 3 days after you take it to the post office, your customer can cancel the order if the item is not scanned in yet. So that's problematic for sure. That opens up a whole can of worms. There are ways around that. You can go to the post office and wait in line and actually have them scan your item. So I would suggest if you are selling a lot on Mercari, I would go to the post office, stand in line, have them scan in each package. Me personally, I just drop it off at the post office and hope for the best, basically, which is probably not a good thing, or I have USPS pickup from my house. So, either way. But if you are selling a lot on Mercari and you're worried about people canceling before, the item gets scanned in, then that is an option. I know it's a pain in the ass. Nobody wants to stand at the post office with all these long lines. It's a pain. I understand that. Number 9 is if a buyer requests return, the seller can't see why. So Mercari, it's not like on Poshmark where the seller is able to view like why the customer decided they wanted to return something, or even on eBay you can see why they wanted to return, but Mercari doesn't do that. Basically returns just go through Mercari and the seller doesn't really have any control over it basically, which is kind of crap. Number 10 is the lack of seller support. I agree with this 1000%. That is one of the main reasons why I rarely ever sell on Mercari, if ever, is because of their customer support. Even when you do get an answer from their customer support agents, they are just they're like your manipulative ex-boyfriend who just gaslights you into thinking that they are right and you are wrong, and they're not going to help you, basically. That's been my experience. Every customer service agent I've ever talked to at Mercari has just been of no help whatsoever, and they basically just like talk you in circles until you give up and just let it go, essentially. Number 11 is accounts getting shut down for no reason, and apparently there's like a Reddit thread about this, which I haven't seen or haven't really looked into, but I have seen a lot of accounts get shut down for absolutely no reason. I know in the beginning of my reselling journey, when I was trying really hard on Mercari, I got they have badges, like a badge system, which is like to tell you how good a seller is basically, and I would get my badges taken away for absolutely no reason, and that was a bulk of my dealings with their customer service, and they just didn't care. They were like, oh, you'll get them back, and I'm like, they never should have been taken in the first place. What do you mean? So yeah, Mercari is a little sketchy, I'm not gonna lie. And last but not least, we have it's not professional looking. Like somebody mentioned earlier, it's basically the garage sale, the yard sale of selling platforms. It is not a professional looking app. It's basically like if Craigslist was an app. So, I mean, And that may not bother some people. Some people just really want to find cheap stuff and they don't care if it's professional looking. For sellers, it's a little more irking, but What are you gonna do about it, you know? Alrighty, so now that we have ripped Mercari to shreds, let's talk about some of the pros. So number one is that it's easy and user-friendly. It's easy to list. It's a list it and forget it type of thing, like eBay. You list it, you just let it sit there unless you want to do promotions, yada, yada, yada. Someone said it's almost too easy, which I agree with. Like, it is almost too easy. Like, why? Why is it? It's suspiciously easy, basically. You guys make me laugh so much, I swear. Number two is lower fees. Again, not sure the fees off the top of my head. I don't want to give you guys any misinformation or misspeak, so I'm going to put it on the screen right here. But they do have lower fees in comparison to other selling platforms, which is nice. Number three is larger profit margins. That would be due to the lower selling fees, so that's another really good pro. Number four is multiple shipping options. There's different rates that you can choose from, and there's different carriers that you can choose from. I agree that is a really good thing, even though their shipping system does need some help. It really, really could use a makeover, but they do have where you can choose different rates of shipping, unlike POSHMARK, where you're just stuck with that one flat shipping rate and no other options for lighter weight items. So that is another really good pro for Mercari. Number five is you can sell basically anything. So Mercari, being the garage sale of platforms, is actually a good thing sometimes, because you can sell whatever the heck you want on Mercari, and a lot of people like that. That just goes to show that negatives can be turned into positives. The last and final pro is that there's no sharing. You could just list it and forget it, which is a huge pro for a lot of people. A lot of people stay away from platforms like Poshmark, where they have to share their items because it's so time consuming, and they love how easy it is to just list an item and forget about it. So that is another really good pro for Mercari. Alrighty, so that does it for today's video. If you'd like some more in-depth information about Mercari and not just opinions about Mercari, I have made a video in the past comparing all of the selling platforms and going more into depth about them when it comes to fees and shipping and all of that. So if you want to check out that video, I will leave it linked down in the description box below. Also, let me know in the comments what your favorite thing about Mercari is, what your least favorite thing about Mercari is. I would love to hear from you guys. I always love hearing your guys' opinions. Like I said, you guys make me laugh so much. So sound off in the comments below and let's start that conversation down there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure and give it a thumbs up on your way out. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join our family. We would love to have you, and I will see you guys in the next video. We're going to talk about Etsy and Depop. I'm excited. See you guys then. Bye.